Hello, hello. Hello, chemical guy. Hello, Farrar. How's everyone doing? We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Hello. No, I'm not drinking bubble tea. I'm drinking iced coffee. Okay. Who is ready to learn some advanced vocabulary? Today will be kind of intermediate to advanced vocabulary. It's not going to be extremely difficult. It'll be mildly difficult. So intermediate to advanced. All right. Well, let's get started. Hello, Flavia. Do I have Instagram? Yes and no. I have Instagram for my personal profile, and I think I have an Instagram that's connected to my teaching profile, but I don't know. I'll be honest, like when I see Instagram, I don't even know what to do with it. Yeah, I'm not an Instagram guy, so I don't use it very much, and I kind of don't really understand the appeal of it. But so the short answer is yes, I have it. No, I don't use it. Okay, so we're going to start with advanced vocabulary. And I have chosen some pages. Where did they go? Here they are. So, do I want people to join on the stage? No, not right now. At least I'm gonna teach you guys some advanced vocabulary words. Okay, I've found a website with some good stuff on it. We're gonna go through some words together and talk about how to use them. Okay. So let me share that with you now. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay, so we're going to get started. Thank you, Safe. I'm glad you like my hairstyle. I'm not particularly happy with it right now, but anyway, let's get started. So we're going to start with a simple word, but it's not that commonly used, so it's good for you to learn it. That makes it advanced. To snap. So to snap can have a couple of different meanings. One meaning of to snap is when you make that sound with your fingers. That's called snapping. Another meaning of snap is to snap. It's a verb meaning to lose control of your emotions and your anger. Usually it's anger. It could be any kind of bad feeling. Any kind of bad feeling is when you instantaneously, when you immediately lose control, you snapped. You snapped. Okay, so the definition is to suddenly become unable to control a strong feeling, especially anger. When she asked me to cancel my trip, I just snapped. Got it? Understand? You guys want to try to use to snap in a sentence? Why don't you write a sentence that uses to snap? I snapped. Who can write a sentence? No one wants to write a sentence? Okay, well, we'll keep going then. The next one is to articulate. To articulate. Who knows what to articulate means? Anyone? What does to articulate mean? I mean, it says it right here. You can read it right there. To express thoughts, feelings, or ideas clearly and effectively. That's to articulate. So if you can express your thoughts or feelings or ideas clearly and effectively, then you can articulate well. Okay, that's the most common definition for articulate. Articulate does have a couple of other definitions as well, but that's the most common way that we use it, is as meaning he can articulate well. It means he can express his ideas or feelings or thoughts clearly and effectively. He can articulate. And actually, there's also a noun form of it. Or I should know, it's an adjective. He is articulate. So articulate changes the pronunciation. To articulate, A. He is articulate, All right, so she cannot articulate her feelings very well. She cannot express her feelings very well. Okay? Got it? Okay, how about to summarize? What does summarize mean? Hello, Belen. What does to summarize mean? Anyone? Hello, Heba. Hello, Asama. What does summarize mean? How do you summarize something? To sum up. Well, sum up is a short version of the word to summarize. Yeah, to sum something up means to summarize something. So yeah, to summarize means to express the most important facts or ideas about something or someone in a short and clear form, right? So maybe somebody wants you to summarize the movie that you just saw, right? They don't want you to tell the entire movie. They want you to kind of give a short explanation of what happens and why it's great. Okay? So the sentence they have there is, I'll just summarize the main points of the argument in a few words. Okay, I'll just summarize the main points of an argument or of the argument in a few words. Okay? So that's the next word, to summarize. And if you guys want to practice using any of these words, you can practice writing them in the chat. So why don't you try to do that? You know, you can try to write a sentence that uses I snapped, meaning I got mad, I lost control of my emotions. You can write a sentence about articulating your feelings, articulating your ideas, articulating your thoughts. You can write a sentence about summarizing something. Okay? Hello, Barakatullah. I'm teaching my class right now, so you can pay attention and learn with everybody. So here's the next word, is to exclaim. To exclaim. What does to exclaim mean? An exclamation. To emphasize, yeah, right, means to say something suddenly and loudly, especially because of strong emotion or pain, right? So exclamations are the ones that we use that special exclamation point, right? This one. That's the word, or that's the character that we use when we want to show an exclamation. Right? To exclaim. It's not fair, he exclaimed angrily. Right? It's not fair, he exclaimed angrily. Okay, so exclamations. He exclaimed his thoughts so everyone could hear. Okay? The next one is to instruct. To instruct. What does to instruct mean? Anyone? To instruct. To teach, right, basically. Yeah, it's a formalized word that means to teach. So the definition here says to order or tell someone to do something, especially in a formal way. Right, so an instructor is a teacher, right? But to instruct does sometimes have a connotation that means someone is giving you an order because they have some kind of authority over you, right? They're instructing you what to do. That's the big difference, I think I would say, between teaching and instructing, is teaching doesn't always imply there's an authority difference between the two people, right? For example, a younger brother can teach an older brother how to do something, right? The younger brother doesn't have authority over the older brother. He's not above him somehow, but he shows him how to do something. Now, if I used the word instruct, it would imply, in my opinion, some sort of authority over them. So an older brother can instruct a younger brother, but I think that a younger brother, I wouldn't use the word instruct when I'm talking about an older brother, right? Do you understand the difference? There you go, Brett. That's right. The police officer instructed me to move my car or get a ticket, right? To instruct implies some level of authority involved, in my opinion, right? Like in the army, yeah, kind of. But in the army, I think they go by orders and commands, right? So that's why they have the term commander, right? So it's similar to in the army, but I think instruct is not quite so authoritarian. Guide and supervisor, that's not a bad way to say it. That's a decent way to think about it, sure. Okay, who's next? Let's see, or what's next? Jargon. Jargon is the next term. What is jargon? It is slang. It is slang, but it's a certain kind of slang. It's a certain kind of slang. It's slang within a certain industry, right? So every job has a certain kind of vocabulary that's used in that job only. Those words are jargon, right? So it says words or expressions that are used by a particular profession or group of people and are difficult for others to understand. He always speaks in legal jargon. Specialized slang, that's a pretty good way to say it too, Brett. Yeah. It's slang that's localized to a certain community, culture, or profession. Maybe is where even I would say hobby, community, culture, and profession. Something like that. Okay, that's jargon. Hello, Dana. Could it be shop talk? Well, I think shop talk often has jargon in it. Shop talk is the talk between shopkeepers, usually, right? People who have a shop. That would be shop talk. Or people who do the same kind of thing, right? They talk about the same industry, right? So when you talk shop talk, you're probably going to use a lot of jargon, okay? Peter, please pay attention to what I'm teaching today. Don't ignore the fact that I'm sitting here teaching, okay? Maybe that's why you got blocked. Hello, Belen. Or I'm sorry, what did you say? Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, I got confused on my chats. Now I see. Okay. Is argot a word in English? I don't believe so. Let me check. Oh, it is. Okay. A specialized idiomatic vocabulary peculiar to a particular class or group of people. Interesting. I did not know that word before. That's definitely not a common word, especially that of an underworld group devised for private communication or identification. Wow, that's interesting. So that's like specialized language usually used by criminals to discuss crimes or the things they want to do secretly. Special idiomatic vocabulary peculiar to a particular class or group of people, especially that of an underworld group. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that word before. Yeah. Some other words that are similar to jargon is lingo. Lingo is another one. Lingo is another one that's similar to jargon. Can I explain more about jargon? Sure. Jargon is certain words used in certain industries. So tell me this, Osama, what job do you do? Or what are you studying to be? Hello? Giuseppe, yes, I'm back in the USA. Your boss needs an English teacher. Message me, Dana. Send me a private message, and I'll get you in contact with my my assistant. Okay? Okay, what else do we have here? For example, in a school setting, teachers might use argot to describe the specialized terminology that they use that might be unfamiliar to a non-educator. Okay, Brett, I'll take your word for it. I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard that word, but it's an interesting one. I want to learn more about it because it sounds like it's used in a very particular way most of the time. But thank you for your help, Brett. We are studying vocabulary, everyone. I think that jargon is similar to also terminology. Terminology is another word. The terms that are used in your industry is terminology. So vernacular would be another word that's similar. Vernacular, meaning the language that's usually common to this area or this industry. You could even say parlance, which would be a very rarely used word anymore. In the parlance of our times means in the way that we speak currently. And even a certain patois, which is basically, again, a word that just means a certain way of speaking in a certain area or field. Okay, let's move on. The next word, to plead. To plead. What does plead mean? Plead has a legal definition, but it also has a common definition. So the common definition of pleading is to ask for something in a very strong or emotional way, to beg and plead, right? See, he was on his knees pleading for forgiveness, right? To plead for, to implore is a little bit different. Plead implies, let me think about how I can explain this. I think plead is stronger than implore in a way, because pleading, if you're pleading for something, there's stronger like desperation. If I say I implore you, it means I strongly ask you, like out of favor for me, right? So maybe I'm a powerful person, so I implore you to do something because I'm hoping that you'll care that I'm a powerful person. If I say I plead with you to do something, I feel like pleading would imply that you don't have so much leverage as someone with money might have, right? So pleading and imploring, I feel like there's almost a class difference there, right? Pleading implies that you're more desperate. To implore implies that you're trying to use your favor or your power to affect a situation, to affect someone's decision, right? To implore. Okay, so I'd say pleading is stronger because it's more like begging. You're more desperate. If somebody is threatening us and we say, please don't hurt me, so are we pleading? It's an example. Yes, yeah, if you're begging for someone to not hurt you, then you're pleading for them to not hurt you. That's right. Yeah, it would be weird to use the word implore. I implore you not to hurt me. Like, like I said, that more implies like you're trying to use your power to gain, get them to change their decision, rather than plead, which is more just please don't, right? Please, listen to me emotionally. Okay? I think pleading is more about giving reasons why one should answer one's request, isn't it? No. There's a legal definition of pleading, which is very different than this one. To plead guilty, right? You have to plead guilty or innocent, right? When someone charges you with a crime. And so pleading, in this case, it's telling the court, I plead with you, I beg with you to understand that I am innocent. Okay? So in that case, it's funny. In the legal definition, it is almost more like implore because it's more formalized. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue with my list here. To condemn. To condemn is the next word. To condemn. Do you guys know what to condemn means? Osama, the closest word I would use as a synonym for plead is to beg. I beg you. I plead with you. I think that pleading is basically a slightly more formal version of the word beg, but the meaning is pretty much the same. Okay? Rebenga. I'll pay you $50 if you get a life. How about that? Okay, let's see. To condemn. What does to condemn mean? I condemned Rebenga to banishment. To condemn. Doesn't mean to deny. No. To condemn. Hello, Brahim. Doesn't mean... well, it's closer to disapprove. Yeah, it's closer to disapprove. That's not a bad word to use to describe it. Yeah. To condemn means to say very strongly that you think something is bad, usually for moral reasons, right? So you condemn their judgment. You condemn their punishment. You condemn the systemic problems. You condemn things. Right? Not exactly blame either. No. It just means that you strongly, formally are telling people you think it's bad morally. Right? Morally, you're saying it's bad. So if you see something terrible that's happening and you say, I think this is really bad, an injustice of some kind, then the formal way to say it would be to say, I condemn what I see happening here, which means I strongly think that what's happening here is wrong. Okay, it's immoral. I condemn it. Okay? Now, there's another way that they use that word that is somewhat common as well, and it has to do with construction and buildings. So if you have a building that is ready to be destroyed, then you condemn it. And I want to look at something here really quickly. So someone was asking if it means to blame. Ina, the original meaning of condemn was to blame or to censure. But that's kind of an older way of defining it now. It comes from the Latin word condemnare, right? Like condemnation is another form of the word. And originally it meant to sentence or doom or blame or disapprove of something. Let's see. So with a building, the word, when we say this building is condemned, that means that a judge has declared that the building can't be lived in and needs to be torn down, right? So you might see this word being used when they talk about that condemned building, which means that a judge has said this building is too old, it's too unsafe, and it needs to be knocked down. Okay? All right. And then we have an inquiry. What is an inquiry? We're talking about vocabulary, everybody. I'm teaching vocabulary words. What is an inquiry? You cannot see the end of the phrase of the definition on my screen. Really? I don't know why. Can everybody see my screen okay? Yes, you can. Okay, good. Thank you. So an inquiry, it's a formal word. It means an official process to discover the facts about something bad that has happened. Okay? So to inquire means to ask. Okay? To inquire means to ask. But an inquiry is a formal word, that it's a noun that means a formal process to try to discover what happened. Usually it's something bad, right? Like it could be a tax inquiry, trying to find out who was cheating on their taxes. It could be a political inquiry. It could be a criminal inquiry, right? So it's like an investigation, right? It's similar to an investigation, but an investigation is a word that we use. Like an inquiry is a kind of investigation, right? But I think investigation is more general. An inquiry is a formal investigation that's just people asking questions. But I think that an investigation, like a criminal investigation with police, that's different than just an inquiry because they can do more than just ask questions, right? No, this class is not every day. Very little font. It's hard to recognize the letters. Let me see if I can make that better for you. Wait a minute. Is that better? Yeah, okay. Okay, so she publicly condemned the deal. To condemn, again, means to say that I want everybody to know that I think this deal is really bad, okay? And an inquiry here. The police are conducting a murder inquiry. So the police are conducting a murder inquiry. So inquiry and investigation, in this case, I would say are the same thing. But I think in most cases, police departments, they usually use the term investigation or investigate, not inquiry. Inquiry, I think, is more I think it's usually less criminal and more civil, meaning that it's just people asking questions to find out what happened, right? So it's a little less broad than an investigation. Okay? Okay, now let's move on to words having to do with relationships. Okay, what about this? Is a broken home. What does a broken home mean?
It's going to be another half hour or so.
A broken home, divorce. Right. So that's kind of what it means. Yeah, it means I come from a broken home means that my parents are not together anymore, right? So your home is broken apart, right? Your family is broken apart. So a family in which the parents do not now live together. Okay, after years of living in a broken home filled with conflict and emotional turmoil, she finally decided to leave and start a new life. Okay, that's a broken home. Okay. All right. Now we have the next word is to click. To click. This is a slang term that basically means to get along with or understand someone quickly, right? So if you meet somebody and you feel like you understand each other very well, very quickly, then you just clicked. Okay? Like the word click is the word that we use when we press a button. Okay? When you press a button, you're clicking the button, right? So it's clicking. That's that sound. Click, 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 right? So when you say you just clicked, it's like someone just pressed a button and you understood each other, right? So you click. So to like and understand someone, especially the first time you meet, to click. I didn't really click with my new boss. Means I didn't really get along with or understand my new boss. Okay? Is it the same meaning of don't get along with? No, I don't think I'd say it's the same as don't get along with. Don't get along with is stronger. Don't get along with means I don't really like them. We didn't click, it's more neutral. It doesn't mean you like them or dislike them, right? If you say you didn't click, it just means you just didn't really have a good chemistry together, right? So it's not so much get along with, it's really just like you just are different people, right? We just didn't click. Okay, it's more like chemistry. All right? Don't get along with somebody is a little stronger. If I say I didn't click with him, it doesn't have any bad feelings. If I say I don't get along with him, that means somehow we don't like each other. Okay? All right, rocky. A rocky situation. A rocky situation. What does that mean? Things are rocky. It means, it says here, the definition means a difficult and not certain to continue or to be successful. So it's a situation that is difficult or not certain to continue or to be successful. So your relationship can be rocky. Your business can be rocky. Any goal that you have that you're trying to accomplish, things could be rocky, right? Any friendship you have, maybe you have a friendship and you're arguing, so things are rocky right now. Okay? So their marriage was starting to get a bit rocky, means that it's like we use the term smooth sailing or smooth road, right? So when things are going well in your relationship, you have smooth roads. But when things are going difficult in your relationship, you have rocky roads. Okay? Rocky roads. Is the same as stony? No. Rocky is a word that we use to describe things that are made of rocks, but we also use to describe a situation that's difficult. Stony is just a word we use to describe something that's made of stones. Can I say that my migrating dream is getting rocky? You could, if maybe you were trying to apply for a visa and things were going well, but now they're not going well for some reason, then you could say it's getting a bit rocky. You could say that maybe if the process is becoming a little difficult, then maybe you could say it's becoming rocky. Okay? Okay, to part with something. To part with something, it's a formal word that means to separate or to leave someone, right? If two people part, or if one person parts from another, they leave each other. And we even use this word when we talk about dying, when we talk about the dearly departed. They have departed. To depart means to leave. So to part means to leave. So it's not a very commonly used word. It's usually used when we're talking about divorce. We're trying to talk about divorce in a formal way. So in this example sentence, they say, he has recently parted from his wife. He has recently parted from his wife. That means they formally broke up, right? But it's basically just a formal way of saying it. Okay? To part. And again, it's related to the term depart as well. Okay, to cut ties with someone. To cut ties with someone. This is a phrase that means to abruptly and permanently end all connections and relationships with someone. To cut ties. So I don't know what happened to him because he cut ties with us a long time ago. Okay? And it's like they've cut the ties. It means all the strings connecting you to the outside world have been cut. Right? To cut connections with people. Yeah, it means to cut ties with someone. Okay? It could be something used about friendships, or it could be used about politics or business. Maybe your company has been buying some products from another company, and that company just got in a lot of trouble legally. Like they're in a lot of trouble, and all the news is talking about how bad they are. So now maybe your company will say, I think we should cut ties with that company because we don't want to be associated with their bad press, right? So they cut ties with that business, okay? To end any connection or relationship is to cut ties, okay? I don't think that we would usually say it about, we don't say it about divorce or boyfriend-girlfriend. We don't say that. We say cut ties is more about business relationships or political relationships, usually. Or moral relationships, even. Okay? Okay, and a spouse A spouse, what does the word spouse mean? Spouse is just a formal word that means husband or wife. Okay? So it's just the formal word that means husband or wife. A widow is a woman whose spouse has died. Yeah, it's a formal way to say your partner. That's right, your spouse. Okay, to bond. To bond. What does to bond mean? To bond. To relate to each other, to bond a connection. Guarantee, that's another way to use the word, but that's not the one we're using now. The most common way to use the word bond, to bond means to develop a strong relationship with someone. To be bonded to them is to be bound. So a bond is a binding, meaning a wrap around you to hold you together, right? So if my arms are bound, then my arms are tied, right? So a bond means that you have wrapped your arm and tied it to someone else in some kind of a strong relationship or connection, right? So you've bonded with them. You've been bound together, right? So, you know, like I take my nephew fishing. And when we go fishing, that's our bonding time. That's our bonding time. We develop a bond because we're spending time together doing something that we both like. Okay? Bond versus bound, they're related, Tevin. To be bound is the past tense of bind. To bind, right? To bind means to tie or wrap, right? So, to tie something so it can't move is to bind something, right? Like a bond in chemicals, that's not a bad way to look at it. Yeah, it's similar to the way chemicals work, right? Yeah. Sorry, one moment. I missed my... Where did that comment go? Yeah, so yeah, think about it like the stronger that you're tied to something, to someone, right? So if you're bound to someone, then you have a bond. You have a bond over something. What is your bond about? Maybe your bond is about sports. You know, maybe your bond is about work. Maybe your bond is about long friendship. You know, maybe your bond is about music, right? You have a bond, means a strong relationship with someone. And usually it's because of some connection, a shared value, a shared interest, a shared hobby, a shared view. That's what makes people bond, usually. Okay? Like a connection. Hello, Eugene Marie. Good to see you. My vacation was pretty good. I'm legally bound to care for her. Yeah, that's right. That's one way to use it. Right. That's a legal binding, right? With pencil drawings, Tevin, if you have a friend who likes pencil drawings, then you like pencil drawings, then that is your bond. You bond over pencil drawings, right? You bond about pencil drawings. That's another way to use the term lay is in legal contracts or just contract terms. The term bond means two people are bound to each other. It's legal binding, right? It's a legal connection to someone. So this is similar. But in this case, the word bond has a more common usage. Okay, now we have siblings. What are siblings? Hello, Orenbeck. Good to see you. What are siblings? Brothers and sisters, that's right. Brothers and sisters are siblings. So if someone says, how many siblings do you have? They're asking, how many brothers and sisters do you have? A total number. Okay? So that's siblings. That one's easy. And unmarried, that one's also easy. We know that means not married, right? To be on good or bad terms with someone. It's a phrase that just means that you have a good relationship with someone or a bad relationship with someone right now, right? So they're not on good terms with their family members means that right now they don't have a good relationship with their family members, right? We're on bad terms with that company means that company is not happy with us right now. So we don't have a good relationship right now. Instead of I have 3 siblings, can I say I'm one of 4 siblings? You can. Yes. Does the term sibling refer to more than 2 brothers? Sibling refers to brothers or sisters. It has no gender. It's genderless, right? So siblings refers to the total number of children, right? Brothers and sisters. Giuseppe, how long was my vacation? It was about 5 weeks. Okay, so to be on good terms or bad terms with someone just means your relationship, right? We're not on good terms, or we are on bad terms, or we are on good terms, Hospitality. Hospitality, what does hospitality mean? To be treated kindly by the host. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Hospitable. To be hospitable. Let me look at this word really quickly. One moment. Yeah, the Latin word hospes means guests. So, to have hospitality means to treat your guests well. To treat your guests well. So the local people showed great hospitality. The local people showed great hospitality. Okay? Yeah. Hospitality means showing strangers or guests or family or friends being, that you're a good guest. That you're a good host. That you give them some food and give them a place to rest. You make them feel comfortable. That's good hospitality. Okay, I only have a few more minutes, guys, so let's go. We're going to talk now about advanced English vocabulary for homes and buildings. For homes and buildings, okay? Okay, let's see. Infrastructure. Infrastructure. No, Dr. Sam, infrastructure does not mean the tallest buildings in the city. No, those are skyscrapers. Skyscrapers, I think, is the word you're looking for. Infrastructure is something different. Infrastructure means all the basic systems and services that you need in a city, like transportation and streets and trains and power supplies and water, treatment plants, power companies. That's all infrastructure, right? Roads, highways, that's all infrastructure. Okay? So this says the basic systems and services such as transport and power supplies that a country or organization uses in order to work effectively. Okay? Usually this term is used when we talk about countries, but it could be used in businesses as well. Okay? The war has badly damaged the country's infrastructure. Okay, if I was using this term in business, the infrastructure of my business would be the important systems that my business needs to function. That's the infrastructure. Okay, so like your phones and your computers and your internet connection, that would be the infrastructure of a business, right? Okay, now we go to the next word, mansion. A mansion. Yes, a luxury house. A mansion is a very large luxury house. It's a large, expensive house. It's a mansion. Okay? The street is lined with enormous mansions where the rich and famous live. Okay? Yeah, mansions. Okay, the next term is not that common, but you can learn it. A semi-detached house. Semi-detached house. This means that it's a house that has one wall that is joined to another house, right? So your house is connected to another house by one wall, right? That's a semi-detached house. Detached means not connected to. So semi-detached means partly detached, but partly still connected to. Okay? That's a term that would be mostly used, I think, in European and American housing. Mostly American. Okay? Then we have a warehouse. What is a warehouse? Anyone? What is a warehouse? A store. No, not a store. Not exactly. No. So a warehouse is a building where you store your wares. Wares means the things that you need or the things that you sell. Okay? So a warehouse is the big building where you keep all the things that you sell. Okay, that's the official meaning is if you have a business, maybe you have a business that sells, garden supplies. Okay, so you have a store where you have your customers can come buy things from your store, right, at the garden supply store. But you also have a warehouse, which is a really big building where you keep all of your products so that you can you have better distribution, meaning that when the products are delivered to your warehouse, you can always keep everything in stock in the store because you have a big warehouse to keep a lot of products. Okay, so warehouse is now something sometimes that means a store, but it doesn't really. It means a large building that we use for keeping the goods that a store sells. That's a warehouse. Okay, we have several thousand of the books in our warehouse. Okay? It's definitely not a hardware store. No, a warehouse is a large building for storing things that we sell. Okay? Or use. Okay? That's a warehouse. Is staircase an advanced word? Well, this list of words that I found online is not exactly that advanced, but some of these words are a little more easy than others. However, I would say that you'd be surprised, Arenbeck. Staircase is not a word that people always hear anymore. They hear stairs, but they don't always hear staircase, right? So a staircase just means a group of stairs, right? So a set of stairs and the structure around them is a staircase. Okay? I have a spiral staircase in my house. So most people just use the term stairs, and that's fine. You can use stairs. But staircase is not a bad one either. Okay, how about a landmark? What is a landmark? A landmark is a building that you can easily recognize, especially one that helps you to know where you are. A famous building or something, right? Yeah. So it's something that marks the land. It tells you, oh, I know where we are. We're here because I can see that thing, right? It's a landmark. Okay? Yeah. It also means... Now, it often means a building that has some historical value, historical or cultural value in some way. It's a landmark. Okay? Then we have a complex. A complex. So a complex is a group of buildings or rooms that are used for a particular purpose, right? So if you want to talk about a group of buildings together, then that's a complex. Okay? A group of buildings or rooms. That's a complex. Okay? A complex of buildings collapsed during the earthquake. Okay? You know, like maybe at your university, there could be the student complex would be the groups of buildings for the students, or maybe the science complex would be the areas of buildings for science. Okay. Is it like compound? No, not exactly. A compound is also a building term, but a compound implies it's a large group of buildings that are secure in some way, and they are used for security. So a complex doesn't imply any security, in my opinion, but a compound does. If you live on a compound, then I don't think that anybody can just walk on there, right? But a complex of buildings, I don't necessarily think there's any problem with people walking through them. Okay? Okay, then we have a loft. A loft. A loft. A loft, it says, is the space under the roof of a house or other building. Our loft is full of stuff. So the word loft has a few meanings now. Originally, it just meant the storage area below your roof, right? So some people call it an attic if it's enclosed. If you can't easily get to it because it's enclosed, then that's an attic. But if it's not too difficult to get to, like partly open, then that's a loft, right? So, for example, in a barn where they have horses, right? They keep the horses on the first floor of the barn, but then above the barn, above the horses, below the roof, they have an open area where they can throw bales of hay for the horses to eat later. They can store the bales of hay in the loft. It's called a hay loft. So that's the area above the barn that's open where they can throw the hay up there to save for later. Okay, so a loft is an open area of storage space below the roof. That's different than an attic. An attic is the closed area of storage space below the roof. Okay? Okay. Let me check to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Hello, if you're new, I'm teaching about vocabulary words right now, okay? You have a lecture in the science complex. That's a good way to use it. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Baku, how about you pay attention to what I'm doing, okay? This is my live stream. You come here to listen to me. Nobody's coming here to listen to you, okay? I'm here to teach. Why don't you pay attention and learn, okay? All right, how about the next word is reconstruction. Reconstruction. What does reconstruction mean? Yeah, rebuilding. Yeah. If you rebuild something, you have reconstructed it. Okay? When you rebuild something, you've reconstructed it. All right? The classrooms are in need of immediate reconstruction. Okay? And then finally, we have the last word about property is premises. The premise or premises. Okay? This is a very formal word. That means the land and buildings owned by someone, especially by a company or organization. So we use this word like maybe if you got fired from a company and they remove you from the premises, means they remove you from their property. So basically, premises is a very formal word that just means all of our property. That's our premises. Okay, all of our property. It's a formal word, though. It's very formal. We rarely use that word unless we're talking legally in some way. Okay? Hello, Oxy. Can we say to reconstruct a wasteland? I think you could. Yeah. I think you could try to use it that way. I don't see why you couldn't. Why not? Okay. Premises could be the main idea of something. That's the word premise. A premise is the idea of something. Premises, that's different. That means the property. Okay. So there's premise meaning an idea or a main idea about something, right? That's the premise, right? What's the premise of this paper, right? But you could use that plurally. He's demonstrating many premises, okay? But this is a different form of the word, a different definition of the word, meaning the property or land owned by someone formally. Okay? Do I want you to tell a joke about construction? Sure, why not? Can you reconstruct the road? Sure, you can. Yeah. The movie had such a great premise. Yeah, right. An idea, right? A concept. Yeah. Okay? The land owned by a company. You're right. The formal land, right? So if I say he's not allowed on our premise, he's not allowed on our premises anymore, means he's not allowed on our property anymore. Okay? Okay. I think I need to get going, everybody, but we can continue this list of words later if you want to. Here it is. If you want to go check it out yourself, this is the page that I'm looking at today. And they do have, I think, about 30 more words. And they're not super advanced. They're not super advanced, but they're good. They're good words to learn, right? So there's 60 words here total, and we got through about 30 of them. Okay? So that was good. We can continue doing this again next time if you want to. All right. Helpful? Yes? Good. I'm glad. Okay, so I do need to get going. I have some things I need to do today, but I'm going to try to do more live streams, but shorter live streams, right? So I think I'm going to try to do a live stream every day, Monday through Friday, but only 1 hour. I'm going to try that and see how it works, right? So I'll try to see if I can do 1 hour Monday through Friday. I have to see if I can fit it into my schedule, but I'm going to see if I can do that. Okay? Where can you find that ebook? I just pasted it here. It's a website. Okay? It's a website. Thank you, Belen. Thank you, Dr. Sam. Thank you, Tevin. Thank you, Orenbeck. Thank you, Sail. And Big Mo, thank you. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Thank you, Jean Marie.